I spend hours on crypto Twitter, so you don't have to. Here's what's happening. The Indiana state legislature is making moves on blockchain technology and crypto assets. And I alone am calling it the Indiana doubleheader. Indiana State Senate closed up shop and sent a couple pieces of legislation to the governor's desk. One is HB 1042, the other is HB 1116. HB 1116 is pretty interesting because it unanimously passed the Indiana State Senate. And its impact is banning those crypto ATMs you've maybe seen. Basically, one of the lead sponsors is pointing out that a lot of the folks in the area she represents, Evansville, were winding up in scams related to these ATMs. And it kind of seems like everyone in the Indiana State Senate kind of agreed. My sense is they've all been having a very similar reaction I've been having to those Bitcoin ATMs. Like, what is this and why are the fees so high? On a sadder note, representatives from organizations that focus on retirees and legislative matters that are important to retirees basically pointed out that a lot of the people getting scammed or winding up in some of these bad situations related to the ATMs are older folks. But before you think the Indiana State Senate is coming for Bitcoin or the blockchain technology industry, you got to keep in mind the other piece of legislation that passed. That one was a Bitcoin rights bill. While on a practical level, most of the provisions aren't actually going to change anything for folks living in Indiana, it was at least a ceremonial indication that the Indiana State Senate and the Indiana State House are pretty interested in this stuff. It basically enshrined into law people's right to self-custody assets, to do Bitcoin mining, and things of that nature. There's also a kind of random provision slipped into there about self-directed brokerage accounts for employees of Indiana as a state. The TLDR is the legislation would make a way for employees of Indiana state government to hold Bitcoin or some sort of Bitcoin ETF within their retirement accounts. The mechanics are kind of complicated. So there you go. It's the Indiana doubleheader. Kill crypto ATMs in Indiana, but also enshrine people's right to self-custody, mining Bitcoin, and maybe holding Bitcoin in their retirement accounts. As a note, it might be a few days before this reaches the governor's desk. I didn't see any reason to think he wouldn't sign either of these into law, but that's the final hurdle. I'll let you know if anything changes.